Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sweetcast. It's Clint, and I want to talk about one of the most hated storyline in all of comics. Not just one of the most hated, one of the most talked about even to this day. There are probably a number you could put on that list and put them in the comments below when you think about it. But we're actually going to be talking about past sins, mainly because I saw people griping about it on Twitter and reflecting on how terrible this story arc and this decision was. And we're going to talk about why it was terrible, what went wrong, and if you could possibly have done this in a better way. Maybe it was how it was treated. Maybe you could have achieved the same, storyline, but have done it successfully. I don't know. We're going to talk about that. First, check out Pogs if you're interested, just to name a few. And trading cards is the Downcast Gods and Gears Black Friday sale. So if you want to pick up some of the things that you've been missing from Downcast, it's a Christmas clock going off. Sorry about that. If you want to pick up some of the things you've been missing on Downcast campaigns, this is where you can get it. The link is in the description below. I better not get copyright stricken for that. I didn't know there's a clock in here. We got decorations out. All right. Past sins. Why is this so terrible? I think it's aptly named Past Sins because this is one of those things that Marvel should forget. And they probably clearly wanted to forget because later this got retconned out of the story. So, oh my goodness, it's bad on many levels. I remember when I read this, first I got to say this was decision making by J. Michael Straczynski. I don't know if I'm saying his last name correctly, but this was also editorial that had a lot to do with this, and so I've heard rumors that J. Michael Straczynski said he would never write comic books again strictly because of what Marvel did to him during this time and what they made him do potentially. So this, for me personally, this was a Spider-Man series that I'd read. I'd gotten all the way to volume 9 and then stopped. I did read the beginning of Civil War with Aunt May dying. All of this is super old, so I guess spoiler alert. But I actually really enjoyed this run for the most part up into this point. I really think that this was it here in volume 8 that I decided I didn't like this anymore. Up to that point, it was super exciting. The stakes were high. Spider-Man had some really funny moments. He had some really interesting moments. I was rooting for him through this whole series. So I actually really enjoyed the run up into this point. I think a lot of people will give J. Michael Straczynski a lot of crap because of the things toward the end. Again, I know he's a very capable writer and he's done some great work because I've really enjoyed it. Some of my favorite Spider-Man stuff was from earlier in this run. The whole totem thing, all that. I like that stuff. In here, though, past sins, why was this so bad? Well, this is potentially what happens when you're looking to tread new ground and you're looking to do it in an outrageous and shocking way. The problem is that if you can't follow through with that in a nice way, what else do you have? There are a few problems. Essentially, let's get to the nuts and bolts of what exactly this past sin is. And that is, there are these two strangers that have started attacking Peter Parker, and they know something he doesn't know, perhaps. But it turns out that he's actually being hunted down by Gwen Stacy's twins. They're twins, right? Her children, as now grown adults, because of one reason or another, because of the sciences or something. So yeah, here they are. There's a good silhouette. They're trashing Batman, and it'd be one thing if it was just Gwen Stacy's children, but the question is, who is their father? And their father is none other than Norman Osborn. So that gets weird. So they go back into older Spider-Man lore, and Mary Jane is the one that connects the dots, and she figures out what is happening, and that is that Gwen Stacy was apparently having an affair with Norman Osborn. Now, let's pause here for a moment. How do you make that storyline work? You have a beloved character that has been killed off. One of the characters that they say will never return until, you know, Spider-Gwen becomes a thing. But in the main storyline, Gwen Stacy is not returning. That was one of the important things. Was it Stan Lee said that would never change? Once they killed off Gwen Stacy, she was going to stay dead. And that has become such an important part of Spider-Man's life. Beloved character, important part, the fact that she passed and that there was this, you know, element of innocence to her and the life that he could have had. So already, having known that, when you have this in context, I'm not sure how you can possibly make her do something like that with this guy, uh, and feel okay about it. I think that it's actually has more to do with the context. It's just like a joke. If you can, in your writing, set up for something a funny moment, the funny moment out of context is not going to be that funny, or it's going to be hilarious depending on how your setup was. Same with horror. If you did a great job with setting things up, when that horror moment comes, it's going to have more impact and more meaning based on the full context. And so, what you have here is, because we're now looking back at context that was intended to do something else story wise, and now we're going back at it and trying to think about how to make it sinister, how to make it depressing and disappointing instead. And it's going to actually taint and ruin everything that you've thought about that character before. This affects what Spider-Man was before. And I get that they were trying to do that because, I don't know, they wanted people reading comic books. They wanted to do something big that would get people talking. But I don't see how this is it. I don't see how this got shot down in that editorial meeting. I'm guaranteed that that meeting happened. Probably several meetings, but what happened from it, they gave it the go ahead. There you go. There's Norman Osborn looking at twin babies. Absolutely terrible. So I haven't actually read the, you know, how they corrected this. That's exactly how I felt reading it. Icky. Oh my gosh, so bad, awful. Reading this was so it just ruined the run for me. Honestly, so I like to forget that this existed. Anyway, so this has since been taken out. It's not part of it. It's not important to the rest of the story. It didn't exist anymore. It's not canon, but boy, it sure is awful. That's for sure. Anyway, let me know if is this one of your worst possible moments for Spider-Man, if not comics in general. If you have a better one, let me know in the comment section below. Guys, there's no way to fix this. You're not going to write your way out of this other than shoot the idea down. You got to murder that darling and think of something else. Anyway, thanks for watching. Appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next video.